The next speaker, the last one of this session, is Markus Peschl. He comes from Austria, and he will talk about the impact of perception in innovation. He just told me that we actually split the speech with a colleague of his, so he will introduce a colleague because I have not met him. Markus.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having voted for us. I want to share an idea with you this afternoon, an idea about radical innovation, which we have developed together in an academic research with cooperation with business experience. We observed that in many cases in traditional innovation processes, the idea is that there is, at the first place, a high quantity of ideas which has to be produced in a very fast and very industrial way sometimes, like here in this idea machine. And the second thing which results from that is that we have discovered that this causes huge problems in the selection of ideas. What are the right ideas? How shall we, what criteria have to be applied for selecting the right ideas? And we have found that this problem cannot be solved properly, especially if we are dealing with radical innovation, because simply the context is so huge that with just having a huge bunch of ideas, it's not possible to make a clear selection out of that. That's why, in most cases, the decision becomes quite irrational. What kind of ideas should be chosen is, by some CEO or some external consultants. They're just choosing like from their stomach or whatever. They have some tools sometimes. This in many cases leads to what we call an organic innovation, which means that this is somehow artificially grafted on the organization and simply doesn't fit, which in many cases leads to some kind of failure of the innovation project or some kind of very weak innovation project. That's why we developed in the last years a knowledge process, which we call emergent innovation, which is based in part on Klaus Otto Schama's U theory. And the basic idea is very much something which we have heard this afternoon about the Nespresso story. It's about having a very deep and profound understanding of the object you want to innovate, but, and that's the problem here, at the same time leaving your old stuff and your knowledge behind you in order to create a space where the new can emerge. So in order to somehow tackle this tension between the knowledge on the one hand and the emptiness on the other hand, where the new can emerge, we developed the concept of emergent innovation on the one hand and the enabling space on the other hand, which Thomas will be talking about right now.
We consider emergent innovation as an organic radical innovation from within. And so the focus is clearly on radical innovation and not on incremental innovation. What we mean with organic innovation is that we devote a large amount of time for the development of the innovation core, the innovation object. And this, in our opinion, has to fit very well with the organizational core, the essence of the organization, what the organization stands for. And very often, this is also the problem, because what often is the core of the organization is not exhibited in the structure, in the processes, or in the vision of the organization. So this must fit. And from within, we mean that the root or the source of the innovation process comes from the intelligence of the people from within the organization, and not mainly from external sources like market studies, trend analysis, industry analysis, and so forth. But this is not a think tank. The people doing this process go out, do ethnographical studies, do conduct interviews, generative interviews, and do also learning journeys in other analog industries, for example. We developed, this is just some impressions from the workshops, and this leads me to the concept of enabling space. We are both of the opinion that because these are very fragile and complex processes, that we have to build a container, what we call enabling space, where this innovation process can emerge. And it's, you cannot predict, create, or make innovation. The only thing what we can do is to enable innovation and to set the right parameters. And this is not only about space in the physical sense. It has very many attributes to it. Like it has to be a social elements in it. It has to be cultural elements in it. It has to be a cognitive element to it. It has to be a technological element in it. And these are all equally important depending on the process or on the stage of the process. Maybe this is a physical element where we do prototyping with the organizations. So this was a very fast presentation of an idea we have. We are heavily developing it further. We put about 2 person years into this project already. We are open for collaboration. We are very interested in the enabling space development. We are currently setting up or trying to set up a consortium for research projects, but also with prototyping architectural forms. And so if you're interested in this, we are happy to receive your feedback and also about our thinking, and hope that maybe our deliberations or maybe the youth here from Otto Schama might be of interest of you. And yeah, please contact any one of us, and we are happy to receive feedback. Final words, if you're interested in the hard copy of the slides or of the text, this is also on the web page. We have some hard copies with us, so you can also have them. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Markus. Thank you very much. Break. 30 minutes, sharp, because we have 2 more sessions to go. We have very little time for buffering. So be back at 4 sharp.